This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Friday the 20th day of July in the year 2018. Here's what we're tracking tonight. One day after it was revealed that former US President Jimmy Carter intervened to get the government and the opposition back at the table to restart discussions on national issues, the Minister of State Joe Harmon is assuring that the agenda will be set by the two local leaders. At his post-cabinet press conference today, Mr. Harmon said that while outside influences may offer suggestions, it will be up to the president and the leader of the opposition to decide on the issues that they will discuss.
We are an independent nation, and our president and the leader of the opposition are leaders of this country, and we determine what the agenda is. There may be some suggestions made by an interested party, but the agenda for the meeting between the leader of the opposition and the president are items which the two leaders agree on.
Former US President Jimmy Carter contacted the president and the opposition leader last week and got them both to recommit to a restart of the regular engagements. And the engagements were halted a few months back when the opposition raised concern about the prime minister leading the government side and whether he would be able to make concrete decisions on behalf of the government. President David Granger has now indicated that he will be the one leading the talks, and he wants to first address issues related to crime and national security, the environment, and oil and gas. The opposition leader has indicated that he will consult with his party's leadership about the president's proposed agenda, and then a decision will be made on the way forward. More news in a moment.
Guyana. If Uncapped Marketplace in Georgetown exceeded all your expectations, then prepare to be amazed even further as GMSA's Uncapped moves to the west coast of Demerara, giving you another chance to taste and savor more agro-processed foods. Yes, come out and experience the creativity of those on the west side at the Uncapped Marketplace and Food Festival, happening on Saturday, July 28th from 10 hours at the National Track and Field Center, Lenora, West Coast, Demerara. So bring out your family for an entire day of food, games, giveaways, and lots of fun. The admission is free, so don't miss it.
Back with the news. Calling it a veiled attack on the office of the president, the government used its majority in the National Assembly last evening to quash a motion brought by the opposition calling for the re-establishment of a Ministry of Labour. The motion, piloted by opposition Member of Parliament Jillian Prasad, is in keeping with calls by several labour unions for the Ministry of Labour to be set up to function as an independent ministry instead of a department within the Ministry of Social Protection. After a lengthy debate which only saw the government's chief whip Amna Ali speaking on behalf of the government, 25 opposition MPs voted for the motion, while 33 members from the government side voted against, with the speaker declaring the motion has been lost. 6 opposition MPs spoke on the motion and criticized the government for not even allowing the minister responsible for Labour, Keith Scott, to speak on the issue. Just after the 2015 general elections, the government renamed the Ministry of Labour and made the Labour Department in the new Ministry of Social Protection. In the field of agriculture, as the Guyana Rice Development Board wraps up its first crop for this year, results from January to June show an increase in export by some 87,000 tons, as compared to the same period last year. That's according to the GRDB General Manager Nizam Hassan. He said Guyana has exported 43% more rice for the first half of this year than it did in the first half of 2017. And that's good news. The half-year exports have brought in 23 billion Guyana dollars, which is up from 16 billion last year. The General Manager credited the increase to the determination of rice producers and millers to meet production targets and better access to new markets, especially in Latin America. Mexico and Cuba are the big importers of Guyana rice, taking a total of 133,000 tons. And finally tonight in the courts, the owner of the City Vibes nightclub was today remanded to jail after being charged with being in possession of 42 pounds of marijuana for the purpose of trafficking. 40-year-old Clyde Barrett appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before the Chief Magistrate and entered a not guilty plea to the charges, even as he smiled. The court was told that on the 14th of July at Hog Street, Old Boys Town, a raid was carried out on the nightclub, and 42 pounds of compressed marijuana was found stashed in the business place. The man's attorney, Mark Conway, told the court that it's unclear how his client was charged when 2 other persons were arrested during the raid. But the police prosecutor objected to bail and explained that on the day in question, acting on information, police ranks carried out a raid at a nightclub and found the large parcels of marijuana hidden in the cupboards in the kitchen. After listening to the arguments, the chief magistrate remanded the nightclub owner to prison and ordered him to return to court on August 8 for the continuation of the case. And with a bright smile on his face, 38-year-old Neville Haynes appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court today and admitted to fraudulent conversion. He was sentenced to 18 months in jail for pleading guilty to taking his uncle's belongings and converting them into his own use. Magistrate Lerone Daly was told that on the 10th of April at North La Penitence, while being entrusted by his uncle Aaron Haynes with a refrigerator, a microwave, a marriage ring, and other items totaling $670,000, the man converted everything to his own use. The accused had been given the items by his uncle for safekeeping. However, when the uncle returned to uplift the items, he was told that the items were all in the pawn shop. While admitting to the crime, the accused told the magistrate that his uncle is really upset that he was put out by his wife and given just a few of the belongings. The upset uncle told the court that his nephew should face 15 years in jail, but the magistrate instead sentenced the man to 18 months behind bars. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. Gordon Mosley reporting.